delay of game transpired, and Lamar just lost it. He fired the football into the turf, and then he and Ronnie Stanley, his right guard, who was supposed to initiate the snap, they got into it. Face mask to face mask. How surprised were you at how strongly Lamar reacted or maybe overreacted to the situation?
Well, we've seen this before. We just saw Tom Brady a couple of weeks ago, Skip, that he wanted the ball in the center, didn't snap it in time. I think it's really hard, and what you need to do is when you're on the road, you probably need to get to the line of scrimmage with about 15 seconds because it's already going to be hard, and you're probably going on the silent count, and that's why you see the guard always look back. Okay, you ready?
And I think he taps, right?
And so, he'll normally tap him, or he'll put his hand like, okay, he's ready for it. And as the clock's winding down, the center is just, waiting for the guard to give him the signal to snap the ball. Lamar can see the play clock going down, and down. And so he starts, okay, snap it, and he just snapped it in time. Now, Skip, this happens a lot. That doesn't mean I'm okay with it. I believe, and Staley was trying to tell him, bro, we okay. And Lamar's like, F that. No, we not okay.
He snap was F that. Yep.
Snap to you, no ball.
Yep.
But I like the way they handled it on the sideline, Skip. The Ravens have the third-ranked offensive line in football. Because when you run the football like they do, I think this was 8 consecutive games in which they've gone over 150 rush yards.
That's an amazing stat.
You got to go back to the 85 Bears when everybody ran the football, but only the 85 Bears were able to run it like this. You know what happened in 85? The Bears won the Super Bowl, Skip. And Lamar is throwing the ball extremely well.
Yep.
Now, he missed a few throws he liked to have back.
Yep.
Probably had Marcus Robinson on 2 touchdowns.
He did.
Excuse me. And come playoff time, if he can hit one of those, he had the Lively on a 7 route.
He did.
If he could hit a Lively on the 7 route.
Yep.
If he could hit Marcus Robinson on that shallow cross, he threw it behind him. Or he could hit him when he had him on that post. If he could hit one of those throws, Skip, the Ravens are scary. Because now, Skip, their defense is starting to pick it up. They're starting to apply pressure to your quarterback. The back end is really good. Now, I don't like Marcus Peters, bro. You got to get the guy. Just shove the guy out of bounds. You don't need to try to take the ball away from him in that situation because you don't really need the ball back. Now, you're ahead. Just shove him out of bounds. And you live to see another day.
By the way, he gets in John Harbaugh's face, but he's always getting in John Harbaugh's face, and I think John just sort of ignores it.
Yeah,
right?
Harb's got to be the coolest guy.
He is.
It's like, come on, man.
Yep.
But Skip, look, last night, you look at Baltimore's offense with 10 different targets, 8 different guys caught a pass, and none of them was Mark Andrews or Rashad Bateman. That lets you know that the offense is diversified. Kenyon Drake gave him 93 rush yards, 2 touchdowns. Lamar Jack is tremendous, Skip. The way he can get his improvisational skills and the way he's getting out of harm's way and then getting down. He didn't take really any shots last night. And so well-balanced offense that can strike from anywhere. When they get Mark Andrews back, I like the addition. Although he only had 1 target, didn't play a whole lot of snaps. I like Deshaun Jackson. D-Jack can still run.
I think he kind of pulled a little bit of a hammy at the end.
It's hard as you get old.
36.
And you're not playing continuously. You go to the sideline, you wait a series or 2, you go back in. He fast twitch. So that engine needs to stay revved up all the time, Skip. But look, I understand Lamar's frustration. They were in a great rhythm last night. And the last thing, penalty, Skip. You like, because they were staying on key. You know, it was 2nd and 5. It was 3rd and 3. It was always manageable. And so Lamar said, look, guys, we got to stay on track here. I don't like the way he displayed his frustrations, but I understand it. That don't mean I'm good with it, but I've seen quarterbacks behave, John would, stomp his feet like, come on, guys. But it happened, but the Ravens are scary in the AFC. I understand Baltimore. I understand Buffalo's beating them. I understand Miami's beating them. I understand some other teams. They are scary.
Well, they've had a 10-point-plus lead in every game.
And if you go back and look at history,
they could be undefeated right now.
They're the only team, Skip, that's had a 10-point lead in every game that's lost more than 1 game. All the other teams are either lost no games or 1 game. They've lost 3.
Okay.
But they're getting right at the right time. They get a bye week now. They're going to be tough.
I agree with your scary takeaway. This team, I just like the way it attacks on both offense and defense. Yet they just lost Bateman, who is Lamar's best target on. He's the one guy who can really run and get open.
Yeah.
They didn't have Mark Andrews last night, but he should be back.
Right.
But once you take Bateman away, he's a first-round pick. He's gold for Lamar because he gives Lamar a security blanket he no longer has.
Right.
So maybe D-Jack can take up a little bit of that slack.
Yes.
But that scares me a little bit for Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Now, back to your point about the offensive line and what happened on the delay of game. I'm an even bigger Lamar fan than you are, but that was a bad look to me because I don't mind him firing the football. It's Brady-esque. It's Elway would do it. You know, it's just it's anger at lack of perfection because you got to be better than that because that's inexcusable because you can eliminate that kind of a penalty. And what's his name? Ronnie Staley is a veteran.
Staley's the left tackle.
Yeah, but I mean. But we're talking about veterans who should know better because Linderbaum's the center. Remember, he went the pick after Tyler Smith went to Dallas.
Yes.
So he's a rookie center, and he needs to get tapped because it's so loud in that dome, as you well know, that he needs to get tapped on when to snap. So the ire of Lamar wasn't aimed at the center; it's aimed at the guard.
Right.
Okay. So now here we go, and it's one thing to fire the football. It was another thing for Lamar. He just went over the edge. And they get into a screaming match on live national TV that didn't look good. It's like great teams don't do that. It doesn't go that far. Brady was going over the edge, and I believe it was mostly tied to his divorce that he was attempting to finalize while the football season was underway. I believe you'll see a calmer Brady from this point forward because he kind of cleared the mental decks.
Well, I hope so. Hell, he going to raise hell the whole season?
No, he's not.
He did for the first 6-7 games.
So what is still hanging over Lamar's head? That contract is hanging over his head. I think it's eating him alive, and I don't blame him because he is hurt that they won't reciprocate. He has lived and died for their cause, and now they're not reciprocating. They're not returning the love back to him. And again, do I think he deserves Deshaun? I just do because the market, as you always say, is just going up.
It ain't coming down.
No. Listen, this young man, you want to talk about a gamer and a baller? He is the epitome of those two words to me.
Right.
I also believe that he is an underrated thrower of the football, and I do think he's pass first. He is looking to throw the football. He runs when he needs to or has to.
Right.
And yet he uses his legs perfectly to me, and they call a few.
Yes.
And when they call them, they almost always work because it's just hard to stop him. But the point is, I believe he has underrated, and I don't use this word lightly, I think he's got genius about him because he sees it and feels it and reads it very quickly. He goes to the right people. He missed a couple of throws. I think he's pressing on Monday Night Football because the contract is hanging over his head.
Well, Skip, I think the thing is, for me, is that what Lamar is learning through the process of all of this, that at the end of the day, no matter what they say, no matter how many thousands and millions of fans cheer you, this is a business.
Yep.
He now sees it as a business.
Yep.
So let me take that approach. As opposed to me, this is the end-all, be-all. I'm going to die for the cause. I'm going to treat you like you treat me. This is a business.
Agreed.
I'm going to be very professional in this business setting. But, Skip, I just think the thing is he understands. He's like, you know what, guys? If I step off this field at the end of the season, regular season and playoffs, they're going to have to see me. They're going to have to see me. That money, as Fat Joe said, yesterday's price is not today's price.
That is true.
As Jerry Jones, yesterday's price was not today's price for Jerry.
Yep.
And Jerry ended up having to pay probably about $40 million more.
He did.
They're going to have to guarantee what they were willing to guarantee last year is going to cost you somewhere between 30 and 40% more.
That is
so whatever
true.
the case may be, whatever you wanted to guarantee it, just go ahead and add another zero or two more zeros to it.
And I remind you what happened to my guy Dak Prescott, 2019, when they went to quote-unquote contractual war with Jerry Jones. Dak was betting on himself. Go, Dak, go. And he went south, south, south.
Right.
He unraveled down the stretch. He was pretty horrible down the stretch of 2019, but Jerry was stuck because Jerry didn't have a plan B.
No, he doesn't.
And all of a sudden, he finally says, well, I guess I got to do this. And then he sat right next to him at the press conference and said, I overpaid you.
Skip, but here's the thing. it's going to cost you more than what Deshaun got. You know why? Deshaun was already under contract when the Cleveland Browns tore that contract up. The ink is dry on Lamar. Lamar is at the punctuation. He's at the period.
He's at
the last page. Like LT says, I'm on the last page. I'm in the last paragraph, the last sentence.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson is on the last page, the last paragraph, at the period. So it's going to cost you more because Cleveland tore up his original contract. It gave him more money.
Okay, I agree. And you know and I know what the Ravens, you know so well, are thinking. Deep down, they're thinking, can he stay healthy for 5 more years? Because history would tell you if he continues to put himself in too much of harm's way that he won't last for 5 more years. He won't be the same.
I hope he can. But if he gives you a Super Bowl in one of those 5 years,
correct.
that's money well spent.
I would say. Can you bet on it? Can you trust it?
I'm going to trust him because where you going? You realize it's hard, Skip. It's not quarterbacks. Franchise, great quarterbacks don't just fall off a tree. And yeah, you can go into the draft, Skip, and there's probably going to be some available, C.J. Stroud, you got Bryce Young, you got a couple of these guys. Ain't no guarantee. I know what I got with Lamar Jackson. I got an MVP. I got an All-Pro. I got a Pro Bowl quarterback. I'm going to trust him as opposed to anything that's coming up in the next 4 or 5 drafts.
And tell me if I'm wrong, but I get the sense that football team loves him.
Oh, he did, yeah.
I mean, lives for him.
Yeah.
Will run through walls for him. I don't get the sense that anybody is skeptical of his ability to throw the football.
Absolutely not.
Because all he did a couple of years back was win the MVP. You can't win the MVP.
Unanimously.
Yeah.
Only 2 guys have ever done that, he and Tom Brady. He did it unanimously. Threw 36 touchdowns with 6 interceptions, and we know what his legs are. He's the most dynamic runner since Vic. And Skip, I mean, they run those, he fakes it one way, and then they pull the guard, and he hit it up inside. They can't get him on the ground.
Yep.
He's averaging 7 yards a carry.
I'm with you about this. On Monday Night Football on the biggest stage, he missed a couple of throws. Again, they're pressing throws where then he just fell down on the ground and looked up.
And he knows it.
What am I doing?
Because at worst case scenario, Skip, he got a first down. Best case scenario, Marcus Robinson runs in the end zone, he has a touchdown.
Yeah. But on the roll throw to your young man, the tight end likely, that he hit him in the corner of the end zone, it was a thing of beauty to me. Okay, he can do that.
Skip, that's what was so surprising about how he missed Robinson, because he does throw the ball so well on the move.
He does.
Because that's what in college, if you go back and look at his college career, he could throw from the pocket. I'm not saying that he can't, but he, one of these few guys like Mahomes, is deadly accurate on the move. Lamar can throw the ball on the move, and that's why he's like, I cannot believe that's an easy throw, and I just missed it so far behind the guy. He missed a 84, I forget his name, Skip.
Yeah, I know.
He had him on a what we call a basic cross.
He did.
10 yards of the cross. He threw it behind him.
He did.
But
okay, so remember, there's no Bateman, there's no Andrews last night, there's no Dobbins, there's no Gus Edwards, and yet they dominated a New Orleans team that is better than you think. Because on defense, they're pretty good. Because you know what they just did to the Raiders? They just shut them out.
Yeah, but Skip, you see what happened? 38 minutes to 22 minutes time.
Well, that's who they are. That's what they do. And if you add Roquan Smith to the middle of that defense, and Justin Houston looks like he found the fountain of youth.
Yeah. So and like I said, they get Calais Campbell back. He's collapsing the pocket inside. I think Pierce was out last night with an injury. He's going to probably come back at some point in time. This team, after this bye week, they're going to start to hit their peak. And this is a very, very, very scary team, because what they can do is that they can go on the road, they can run it, and Lamar can throw it well enough. Skip, I'm not saying he don't need to be Patrick Mahomes. No. He don't need to be Tom Brady. What they can do run-wise and the way they can play keep away, it's not like you're going to get a whole lot of possessions. It's not like you're going to get 91 snaps. You're not going to get 85 snaps playing the Baltimore Ravens.
Last quick off-point point to you. Every time I watch Baltimore play, I love those uniforms so much, they make you look faster to me. Lamar looks fast because of did you love playing in those uniforms?
I'm trying to think, Skip. I don't remember. I don't think we had the black pants when I was there. I think they got the black pants. I can't recall ever playing in the black pants. Okay, but I do love the black uniforms.
The running backs look faster. Lamar looks, Deshaun looks with that.
There's something about black unions anyway. They look menacing.
They do. On defense, they look menacing.
They do. And that purple, that means you look at the Ravens and the way they play. And I was saw some of the clips, the highlight clips of the documentary that's going to be released in February.
Good.
They said the Ravens they just play angry.
Yep.
And when you're a Raven, play like a Raven, You're angry. You're pissed off.
Yeah, no, I got it. Scary team.
I love it.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.